Okay, hi you beautiful New Zealanders. Well, we're in for another treat today with another video about some aspect of the furthering of co-governance and Maorification in New Zealand, and Chris Luxon being an activist. He doesn't want people to know that, but that's what he is. So, today I'm going to talk about so-called Maori health practices. This is something that's been brought to my attention, and oh my goodness, it is horrific. They call it Rongoa. And if you practice this nonsense, you are called a Rongoa practitioner. It's a racket. It's a complete racket. With Rongoa medical medicine, and it's not medicine at all, it's just voodoo, up there with deepest, darkest African medicine, patients and practitioners nearly always know each other. They're related. They collaborate. I'm talking about Maori. They have worked out how to make easy money from the government. And man, this is the easiest money ever. And what is Chris Luxon doing about this? Nothing. Because he's an activist too. He's actually allowing all this and driving it. You see, what we have to realise is that the Prime Minister sets the policy of all the National Party MPs. What he says and believes is what all MPs must say and believe, irrespective of what their personal views are. That's how it is. So if you see Maorification and co-governance continuing under National, and they are, both of them, then it's Chris Luxon, who is the orchestra conductor. He is the activist fueling Maorification. In today's video, you're going to see how ACC is literally funding Rongoa, Maori health practices, and Chris Luxon, our Prime Minister, is all for it. And if you write to the Minister in charge of ACC to stop all this, he won't. Why? Because Chris Luxon is sanctioning it, directing it, and you can't go against the Prime Minister. So let's dive into this and have a look at Rongoa, or Maori voodoo. The following is just an extract from a book called The Benefits of Colonisation by Plover. And this is what I found in this book. It says the Maori pa had a public toilet, usually the edge of the village, which all members of the pa used. But not always, as John Nicholas noted in 1815. He was a pioneer missionary here. When some natives came aboard the Active, and one of them performed in the cabin without any ceremony one of the offensive offices of nature, in other words, had a crap, while we were at dinner, for which he was immediately turned out. In other words, a Maori who came onto the Active just did a crap on the floor inside the dinner area, and he was turfed out quickly. On this occasion, some chiefs had crowded into the cabin of the Active, which forced Marsden and Nicholas to quit rather than remain confined among them to experience the stench emitted from their dirty persons. Now, I'll give the references to this at the end of this video. The missionaries and the medics did their best to wean the natives away from such unhealthy habits, but they were up against tohungas, or native priests, that's witch doctors, who resisted anything that they thought might threaten their powers and the superstitions of the people. So the Maori had witch doctors called tohungas, and these people had a control over the whole of Maori society with their voodoo. And the government started to recognise this, how bad it was. As late as 1881, the Taranaki Herald reported that, quote, the natives of Parihaka are in a deplorable state. They are fearfully affected with vermin, that's rats, which has been induced by the crowded state of their forays, that's their houses, Maori houses, and the want of cleanliness. Parihaka is absolutely filthy with want of sanitary precautions. Now honestly, a big step forward for Maori hygiene was the passing of the Tohunga Suppression Act 1907, a statute that had been formulated and promoted by all the Maori members of Parliament at the time. Get that? It was the Maori in Parliament who were promoting it, including Pomeri, a medical doctor, Sir James Carroll and Sir Aparananata, because of the damage that many Tohunga teachings were doing to Maori health. Now, I'm just going to put a newspaper clipping that I got off in my research about how a Tohunga was fined by the government for witch doctory in the early history of our country. So I want you just to pause the video when this graphic comes up and just read it, and then we'll carry on. Come on, what are we doing in New Zealand right now, inviting all this back in? These MPs appreciated the benefits of Western hygiene and medicine and were determined to put an end to the shenanigans of the Tohungas once and for all. As John Robinson wrote in Twisting the Treaty, Maori Tahonga health knowledge prior to European settlements was highly likely to kill the patients. So you're dealing with Stone Age primitive health practices coming back into New Zealand. What are we doing? What's Chris Luxon doing? What's the government doing? Okay, this is where I wanted to get to today. Far North Rongoa practitioner welcomes resurgence of traditional Maori healing practice. Now this is going on, this is from the Northern Advocate, the 8th of June, so it's pretty recent. It says a Far North Rongoa practitioner welcomes the resurgence of traditional Maori healing practice after the country's first Rongoa Maori conference. I wonder who paid for that. And then it says Jolie Davis says it was a special experience to be part of the inaugural Rongoa Maori conference last month in Rotorua. I bet you that was paid for by ACC or the government. I'd like to find out about that. The two-day conference supported by ACC brought together more than 450 Rongoa medical practitioners and health providers. Guarantee that was all paid for by the government. Would have cost a fortune within and grow an understanding of traditional Maori healing and its place in Aotearoa. Well, we passed an act in 1907 to get rid of all this because the government back then said this is a disaster. So what are we doing bringing it all back? It was really exciting to bring everyone to, I bet it was, in the Rongoa community and health providers together, which has never been done before. Do you know why? Like I said at the very beginning, this is Maori working out a way that they can get money. They're all related, so their cousins and their aunties and their uncles and everybody comes along, and the ACC is just coughing up, and this is Maorification going full speed in ACC. Well, the government in 1907 made a decision that it was an absolute disaster, so what are we doing bringing it back? And then the article goes on and on and on and on and on, and it says since 2000, ACC has been offering Rongo Maori as an option for people in their recovery, and it has delivered Rongoa in more than 10,000 claims. Did you get that? 10,000 claims. And so the Rongoa practitioners are saying, quickly, come to my practice that I've set up. It's all paid for ACC, and we're going to make a cool few $1,000s. You all just come. There are now 200 practitioners registered with ACC in the far north, from the far north down to the Stewart Island. There are 24 organisation practitioners in Northland registered with ACC to provide Rongoa Maori services. What an absolute racket. From 2020 to March 2024, ACC has supported access to Rongoa Maori services for 658 kiritaki in the far north region. So it's booming. Davis said the support of ACC has been a big part of the resurgence. Of course. Man, if you can get some money out of the government, free money like that, and start up a racket, this is lotto. Get into it. Become a practitioner, a Rongoa practitioner. People coming through our doors have probably quadrupled in the past 3 years. ACC has done a lot of work to normalise Rongoa Maori in our communities. What is the national government doing? What are they doing? You can excuse this for Labour or the Greens and Te Pāti Māori, but not national. We thought we were going to get rid of all this. Over the past 4 years, ACC has funded more than 77,000 Rongoa Maori sessions, and claims have doubled for people. 77,000 sessions. This is hard to believe, but it's true. So there is significant demand out there in the community, and ACC has been instrumental in creating access for our communities in whānau. Of course ACC, because without ACC it just was not going on. As soon as ACC said we'll fund it, mate, they were in. They were in the trough. ACC data shows Rongoa Maori volumes have doubled in the last 12 months to March 2020 with 5,054 additional claims using Rongoa. Of course, it's a racket. ACC data shows that it's not just Maori who are accessing Rongoa Maori services. I bet it's not, because there's a heck of a lot of white woke liberals who've joined in the Maori religion, with 59% of clients accessing Maori being Rongoa Maori being Maori, while 41% are non-Maori. Of course. And if you click on this link here, there's a clinic that's been opened in Northland. Here it is. Here they all are. This is the Bay of Islands Hospital Rongoa Practitioners Team. And if you read through this, it says they're getting in tahongas and all sorts to go and do the work. And of course, they're all being paid highly to do this. And so on and on it goes. It's just spin. And the government is just saying yes to all this. It's just got to finish. This is ridiculous. Why isn't the government putting an end to this? This is Maori religion and Maori spirituality being paid for by the taxpayer. Maori voodoo being paid for by the taxpayer. No, this has got to stop. What we have to realise, and what we found out, is that prior to 1840, Maori knew absolutely nothing about health. We found that out. It was banned in 1907 by the government. That is, tohungas and Maori spiritual practices. So Maori in 2024 have seen an opportunity. They're opportunists. ACC is gullible, stupid, and woke. Maori are literally making up Maori health ideas on the fly. A little bit of that plant, a little bit of that plant, a little bit of that herb, a little bit of that massage, and on it goes. No science, no research, voodoo. They are literally making up what to dish out to patients when they arrive for, quote, a session. And of course, if you're woke and stupid, you will just believe what the Maori health practitioner tells you. Why? Because that's the nature of Maori superstition and voodoo. Only Maori know what's going on in a session. If you're woke and gullible or stupid or all three, you just believe them and the scam rolls on. Chris, we voted you in to get rid of all this nonsense, to pull all of this waste of money out of the government. Why are you doing nothing? Why are you letting it all go, Chris? Why are you keeping it all going? You're not working for all New Zealanders. Chris, come on, come and tell us. Please share this video with everyone everywhere. The mainstream media should be reporting on the issues I am raising in these videos, but they're not. Why aren't they? Well, they're corrupt. Why are they corrupt? They are collaborating with Maori activists. There's no doubt about that. In the final analysis, the people of New Zealand, that's us, have ultimate power, not the politicians. Did you know that? The people can kick out the people in power and they can put them into power. How are we going to do that? Well, awareness is the key to change. If enough people in New Zealand become aware of the issues I am raising, we can save this beautiful country. So share these videos everywhere so that come the next election, we can vote the right people in and kick out the people who are destroying New Zealand.